Frederic Leighton, 1st Baron Leighton PRA, known as Sir Frederic Leighton between 1878 and 1896, was an English painter and sculptor. His works depicted historical, biblical, and classical subject matter. Leighton was bearer of the shortest-lived peerage in history. After only one day his hereditary peerage ended with his death. Biography. Leighton was born in Scarborough to a family in the import and export business. He was educated at University College School, London. He then received his artistic training on the European continent, first from Eduard von Steinel and then from Giovanni Costa. When he was 24 he was in Florence. He studied at the Accademia di Belle Arti, and painted the procession of the Cimabue Madonna through the Borgo Allegri. From 1855 to 1859 he lived in Paris, where he met Ingres, Delacroix, Corot and Millet. In 1860, he moved to London, where he associated with the Pre-Raphaelites. He designed Elizabeth Barrett Browning's tomb for Robert Browning in the English Cemetery, Florence in 1861. In 1864 he became an associate of the Royal Academy and in 1878 he became its president. His 1877 sculpture, Athlete Wrestling with a Python, was considered at its time to inaugurate a renaissance in contemporary British sculpture, referred to as the New Sculpture. American art critic Earl Shing claimed at the time that, except Leighton, there is scarce anyone capable of putting up a correct frescoed figure in the archway of the Kensington Museum. His paintings represented Britain at the Great 1900 Paris exhibition. Leighton was knighted at Windsor in 1878, and was created a baronet of Holland Park Road in the parish of St Mary Abbots, Kensington, in the county of Middlesex. 8 years later, he was the first painter to be given a peerage in the New Year Honours List of 1896. The patent creating him Baron Leighton, of Stratton in the county of Shropshire, was issued on the 24th of January 1896. Leighton died the next day of angina pectoris. Leighton remained a bachelor, and rumours of his having an illegitimate child with one of his models, in addition to the supposition that Leighton may have been homosexual, continue to be debated today. He certainly enjoyed an intense and romantically tinged relationship with the poet Henry William Greville, whom he met in Florence in 1856. The older man showered Leighton in letters, but the romantic affection seems not to have been reciprocated. Inquiry is furthermore hindered by the fact that Leighton left no diaries, and his letters are telling in the lack of reference to his personal circumstances. No definite primary evidence has yet come to light that effectively dispels the secrecy that Leighton built up around himself, although it is clear that he did court a circle of younger men around his artistic studio. After his death, his barony was extinguished after existing for only a day. This is a record in the peerage. His house in Holland Park, London, has been turned into a museum, the Leighton House Museum. It contains many of his drawings and paintings, as well as some of his former art collection, including works by old masters and his contemporaries, such as a painting dedicated to Leighton by Sir John Everett Millius. The house also features many of Leighton's inspirations, including his collection of ISNI tiles. Its centerpiece is the magnificent Arab Hall. The hall is featured in issue 10 of Cornucopia. A blue plaque commemorates Leighton at Leighton House Museum. Leighton was an enthusiastic volunteer soldier, enrolling with the first group to join the 38th Middlesex Rifle Volunteers on the 5th of October 1860. His qualities of leadership were immediately identified, and he was promoted to command a company within a few months. On the 6th of January 1869, Captain Leighton was elected to command the Artists' Rifles by a general meeting of the Corps. In the same year he was promoted to Major, and in 1875 to Lieutenant Colonel. Leighton resigned as commanding officer in 1883. The painter James Whistler famously described the then Sir Frederic Leighton, the commanding officer of the Artists' Rifles, as the Colonel of the Royal Academy and the President of the Artists' Rifles, and he paints a little. At his funeral on the 3rd of February 1896, his coffin was carried into St. Paul's Cathedral, past a guard of honour formed by the Artists' Rifles. Honours timeline: 1864 Associate of the Royal Academy, 1868 Royal Academy Academician, 1878 President of the Royal Academy, 1878 Legend Honour Officer, 1878 Knight Bachelor, 1886 created a baronet in the baronetage of the United Kingdom, 1889 Associate Member of the Institute of France, 1896 created a baron in the peerage of the United Kingdom. Selected works: Death of Brunelleschi, oil on canvas, The Fisherman and the Syrian, c. 1856–58. Cimabue's celebrated Madonna is carried in procession through the streets of Florence, oil on canvas. The discovery of Juliet apparently lifeless. The Villa Malta, Rome, oil on canvas. The Painter's Honeymoon, c. 1864. Mother and Child, c. 1865. Actia, The Nymph of the Shore, oil on canvas. National Gallery of Canada, Ottawa. Daedalus and Icarus, c. 1869. Hercules wrestling with death for the body of Alcestis. After Vespers, 1871. Princeton University Art Museum. Greek girls picking up pebbles by the sea, 1871. Terrace in a Christchurch Art Gallery. Tape una owy fatal, Christchurch, New Zealand. Music lesson, c. 1877. An athlete wrestling with a python, bronze sculpture. Nausicaa, c. 1878. Winding the Skein, c. 1878. Light of the Harem, c. 1880. Idle, c. 1880–81. Wedded. Simon and Iphigenia Art Gallery of New South Wales. Captive Andromache, c. 1888. The Bath of Psyche, Tate Gallery. The Garden of the Hesperides, c. 1892. Flaming June, oil on canvas, Museo de Art de Ponce, Puerto Rico. The Parable of the Wise and Foolish Virgins. The Armlet. Phoebe, a bather. The Leighton frescoes. The Arts of Industry as applied to war and the Arts of Industry as applied to peace. Phoenicians trading with the early Britons on the coast of Cornwall, 1895. Mural at the Royal Exchange, London. Gallery.